Hark! Gather ye round, goodly gaffers and whimsical wizards, for we embark upon a most wondrous journey into the realm of Wandlore, a subject as slippery as a greased pixie on a pogo stick. Lo, these are not mere sticks of wood fashioned by the hands of man. Nay, they are enchanted conduits of cosmic chaos, each imbued with its own peculiar personality. Wouldst thou prefer the pliable willow wood, known for its flexibility akin to a contortionist in a circus, or perchance the elder wand, famed for its unparalleled potency? Though it be said that wielding such power may lead one to an unfortunate end, like a cat caught in a rainstorm. Now let us not forget the age-old adage, the wand chooses the wizard. Aye, this is no idle whimsy, 'tis a truth as solid as a troll's toenail. Picture this, you saunter into Ollivander's emporium of enchanted implements, only to find yourself beset by an array of wands that seem to whisper sweet nothings in your ear. Pick me, they cry out with fervour. But lo, the moment you reach for one made from the finest dragon heartstring and phoenix feather, bam! It explodes into confetti and giggles. Such is the nature of wand selection. It is as unpredictable as a squirrel on caffeine. As we delve deeper into this arcane artifice, let us ponder upon the curious characteristics that render each wand unique. Some wands are crafted from rare woods like yew or cherry, each possessing properties that can amplify certain spells or even dampen them like soggy biscuits in tea. Yew wood is often associated with death and rebirth. Thus, wielding such a wand might make one feel rather existential after casting a particularly powerful spell. Meanwhile, cherry wood brings forth charm and charisma, ideal for those who wish to woo their way through life's many misadventures. But hark, what about the core? Ah yes, therein lies another layer of complexity. The core of the wand, the very heart that beats with magical energy, can be composed of various materials: dragon heartstrings for fiery ferocity, unicorn hair for purity and grace, or even thestral tail hair if one fancies themselves an aficionado of all things dark and mysterious. Each core bestows different qualities upon its wielder, thus choosing wisely is paramount, lest you find yourself inadvertently turning your beloved pet goldfish into an inflatable rubber ducky. Now let us turn our attention to spellcasting itself, a practice both exhilarating and exasperating. With but a flick of thy wrist and an incantation uttered with utmost conviction, preferably while standing on one leg, one can conjure wonders beyond imagination or calamities beyond comprehension. Yet beware, casting spells without proper training is akin to juggling chainsaws while blindfolded. It may seem thrilling until someone loses an eyebrow. In our quest for knowledge, we shall now introduce an utterly absurd yet surprisingly useful new spell, Flamoxicus Fiddlesticks. This delightful incantation allows the caster to confuse their adversaries by causing them to speak only in tongue twisters for precisely 3 minutes. Imagine facing off against an enemy who suddenly finds themselves unable to articulate anything other than Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. It would be both hilarious and bewildering, a true testament to magical mischief. However, dear students of sorcery, do take heed. There exists a twist most treacherous lurking within this seemingly innocuous spell. For if cast incorrectly, say during an eclipse whilst wearing mismatched socks, the spell may backfire spectacularly. Instead of befuddling foes, it could cause you to babble nonsensically about your undying love for broccoli while attempting to dance like no one's watching, but alas, everyone is. Thus, it becomes imperative that one practices diligently before unleashing such chaos upon unsuspecting souls. As we conclude our whimsical wander through wandlore and spellcasting shenanigans, remember this. Magic is not merely about wielding power. It is about embracing the absurdity inherent in existence itself. So whether thou art brandishing willow or elderwood, know that every flicker of thy wand carries with it echoes of laughter and lunacy alike. In summation, choose thy wand wisely, practice thy spells diligently, embrace thy inner absurdist, and above all else, never underestimate the power of laughter in even the most serious situations. Now go forth and create magic worthy of tales told around crackling hearths. In yonder realm of arcane arts, where whimsy waltzes with the weighty, we embark upon a most curious discourse on the delightful domain of spellcasting. Gather ye round, goodly folk, for we shall delve into toe-tickling incantations and hexes that tickle the funny bone till it howls in mirth. Yet take heed, not all spells befit the faint-hearted. Some may lead thee down paths more twisted than a pretzel at a carnival, ensnaring thy senses in a web of whimsical woe. Lo! The art of conjuration is not merely a matter of waving wands and uttering words. Nay, it is an elaborate dance, a dizzying display of dexterity and daring. With each flicker of the wrist and every syllable spun like gossamer threads upon a loom, one must master the delicate balance between chaos and control. Forsooth, a mispronounced phrase could unleash a cacophony of calamity or summon forth an army of giggling gremlins. Now, dear pupils, let us not forget the importance of preparation. Before embarking upon this magical journey, one must gather ingredients most peculiar. Powdered pixie wings for potency, dragon's breath for boldness, and perhaps a dash of dandelion fluff to add that extra flair. Mix these marvels with meticulous care whilst reciting your incantation, lest you find thyself transformed into a toadstool, or worse yet, an overzealous cabbage. As we frolic through this fanciful field of spellcrafting, allow me to introduce thee to our esteemed hosts, two rival sorcerers whose rivalry rivals that of cats and canines. Watch as they engage in dazzling duels, their spells whirling about like leaves caught in a tempestuous gale. One moment they conjure clouds that rain jelly beans, the next they unleash torrents of ticklish taffy upon their unsuspecting audience. But lo, what light through yonder window breaks? A new spell hath emerged from the depths of obscurity, a spell so potent it promises to turn laughter into levitation. "Behold!" cries one sorcerer with exaggerated flair, "with but a whisper and a wiggle, I shall make thee float like feathers on the breeze." Yet little do they know that this very incantation holds within it an unforeseen twist, a twist that would leave even the most seasoned sorcerer scratching their head in befuddlement. As our duelists prepare to demonstrate this newfound magic, they unwittingly invoke the ancient curse known as the giggle graviton. Instead of ascending gracefully into the air as intended, both sorcerers find themselves tethered by invisible strings to their own laughter, each chuckle pulling them higher until they are suspended mid-air like marionettes caught in an eternal jest. The audience erupts in raucous laughter as our hapless heroes dangle helplessly above. In this absurdist spectacle where gravity bows before giggles, our duelists must now concoct yet another spell, one that will free them from their buoyant binds. "Quickly!" shouts one amidst fits of laughter. "We must weave together words both wise and whimsical." With tongues twisting like pretzels and minds racing faster than enchanted steeds, they chant fervently until at last, pop, they plummet back to earth with resounding thuds. Thus concludes our merry jaunt through the enchanting world of spellcasting, a realm where absurdity reigns supreme and laughter is but a flick away from levitation. Remember well, magic is not merely about power, it is about playfulness, the ability to embrace folly whilst wielding wonder. So go forth, brave apprentices, may your spells be ever splendid and your duels delightfully disastrous. And should you ever find yourself tangled in tendrils of enchantment gone awry, fear not. For every mishap holds within it the seeds of serendipity, a chance for growth amidst giggles. Now go forth into this wild world armed with knowledge both arcane and absurd. Let your imagination soar higher than any spell could ever hope to achieve. Hark! Gather ye round, good gentlefolk, for we embark upon a most curious caper into the convoluted corridors of Wandlore and spellcasting. With quills poised and parchment primed, let us delve deep into the delightful details of this arcane art. Verily, it is a realm where wands wield whimsical wonders, and spells spiral splendidly into the ether. But lo, beware the blunders that befall those who bungle their incantations. For in this world of magic, mischief lurks behind every flick and swish. In yonder days of yore, when dragons danced with dandelions and unicorns wore spectacles to read the stars, wandcraft was not merely a pastime, but a perilous pursuit. Each wand was wrought from wood as rare as a hen's tooth, be it elderberry or ebony, imbued with essences most extraordinary. The very fibres of these fabled sticks were said to hum with the harmonies of the music. Thus, dear students, shouldst thou wish to wield thy wand with wisdom, one must first understand its lineage, lest ye summon forth an army of angry ants instead of an elegant elemental. Now prithee lend thine ears to the peculiarities of spellcasting. Forsooth, casting spells is akin to baking a cake, whilst riding a unicycle on a tightrope strung over a pit of piranhas. One must measure intentions meticulously whilst balancing syllables like juggling jellied jackanapes. And lo, shouldst thou utter abracadabra while simultaneously sneezing, a most unfortunate combination, thou may find thyself transformed into an oversized cabbage. Such is the absurdity that abounds in our magical milieu, but hark, a twisty turn awaits us in this tale of tomfoolery. As we delve deeper into our discourse on spellcrafting shenanigans, I present unto thee a newly discovered incantation, Flumoxicus Fabuloso. This spell promises to conjure forth fantastical feasts from thin air, albeit with one caveat. It requires the recitation whilst hopping on one foot whilst wearing mismatched socks. Alas, many an aspiring sorcerer hath found themselves bedecked in bizarre attire after attempting this tricky trick. Yet what folly lies within this frivolous formula? For upon uttering Flumoxicus Fabuloso, one might inadvertently summon not sumptuous sustenance, but rather an avalanche of animated asparagus that dances about declaring its independence from culinary constraints. Indeed, such absurdity serves as both cautionary tale and comedic relief. A reminder that even in magic's embrace, chaos reigns supreme. As we navigate these nebulous notions of wand-waving wizardry, let us not forget the importance of practice. For every great mage hath endured countless calamities before mastering their craft. Thusly do I implore thee, practice thy spells with patience and perseverance, for each miscast is but a stepping stone towards sorcerer's success, or at least towards becoming the life of any enchanted soiree. And now, dear pupils, as we approach our grand finale, a flourish worthy of Merlin himself, I beseech thee to remember that magic is not solely about power or prowess. Nay, it is also about playfulness and perspective. Embrace the absurdity inherent in your endeavours, for therein lies true enchantment. Whether thou art summoning storms or simply seeking to impress thine friends with flamboyant flourishes, let laughter be thy lodestar. Thus concludes our whimsical wander through Wandlore and spellcasting, a tapestry woven with threads both serious and silly. May your wands remain ever at the ready, and your spells sharp enough to slice through the mundane fabric of reality itself. Until next time, keep thine eyes peeled for wayward wands and mischievous spells lurking just beyond your periphery. And so I bid thee farewell until our paths cross again amidst swirling stardust and shimmering shadows, wherein lies yet another opportunity for delightful discoveries in this wondrous world of wizardry.